Yes, good evening, students. How are you? Yes, guys, good evening to Sudhanshu, Komal, Kiran, Sushil, Bhumika, Diksha, and all others who are in the process of joining. So, today I'll be taking the class. Rajiv sir had some urgent work. Uh, so he will be joining us in next class on Tuesday. So, students, in the last class, many of you were writing about difficulty in chapter 9. You were sending us the mail that you are finding it hard how to prepare for chapter 9. That is audit of financial statements. So should I start telling you how to prepare for chapter 9? Are you comfortable with it? Or should we do some questions first? Yes, guys, waiting for your response. Should we devote some time to chapter 9 on how to prepare for chapter 9? Many of you were writing that you are finding it difficult to how to prepare for chapter 9, that is audit of items of financial statements. Okay. Yes. Bhumika, as far as Caro 202 is 20 is concerned, we'll take it on Tuesday in a short time. Okay. So there are many students who are saying chapter 9. Darshan, Siva Ranjani, Kiran, Sudhanshu. So students, what chapter 9 is all about? What chapter 9 is all about? First you have to understand this, and I will tell you techniques, and I will try to provide you overview how to prepare for this chapter. So students, basically chapter 9 relates to how you have to verify, vouch individual items. Okay, so there are two types of items in financial statements. One are balances, which you know that is balance sheet items, and one are transactions, which are items of transactions or events which are items of income statement, statement of profit and loss account. Okay, fine enough. So we have to determine our strategy keeping in view this overall picture. So students, you also know that you have read in chapter 3 that audit procedures consists of, apart from risk assessment procedures that I am not considering because that is part of assessing risk. So apart from risk assessment procedures, audit procedures consists of tests of control and substantive procedures. And substantive procedures again consists of analytical procedures and tests of details. Okay. So what do tests of detail mean? Remember chapter 3? What do tests of detail mean? Tests of details mean tests of transactions and tests of balances. So basically, simply said, it means vouching, and test of balances means verification. So there are procedures related to verification of balance sheet items. There are procedures related to vouching of items stated in income statement. Okay, like, try to understand it this way. Say uh, you are checking sales, you want to verify sales of a company. Okay, so what steps would you take? Simple steps, logical steps. From common sense point of view, you would vouch few invoices. Okay, you would try to correlate invoices with orders. You would check the arithmetical accuracy of the invoices. You would also see that all sales which needed to be recorded have in fact been recorded. Nothing has been omitted. And you would also see that cut-off period has been taken into account. Okay, so all these things you would um, see in transactions relating to sales. Okay, and similarly, say, take the example of balances like say trade receivables, debtors, or inventories. So what procedures as an auditor you would apply? General things. So try to open up your mind and think of general things. You want to be assured that the inventories which are stated in the balance sheet, these in fact exist. So what do you want to uh, see in this respect? So you would attend the physical inventory counting of the inventories of the company as on the reporting date. Okay, and you would also be concerned that all the inventories which are reflected in the balance sheet of the company, those belong to the company. These do not belong to any third parties. So these things. So tell me, guys, let me ask you a question. If say a company has sent some goods on a job work basis to a third party, say company is manufacturing t-shirts. Let us assume it is manufacturing t-shirts. So for some stitching work, or assume for affixing buttons or affixing stickers, the t-shirts are sent to some third parties. Say t-shirts amounting to 5 lakhs, stocks amounting to 5 lakh have been sent to some job worker for performing this work. Now, in whose books these stocks of t-shirts would be recorded? Tell me. In whose books these stocks of t-shirts will be recorded? Whether it would be recorded in the books of company, or whether it would be recorded in the books of job worker. Tell me. Yes, guys. Yes, students, tell me. A company has sent, say, t-shirts for job work, for affixing some labels to some third party. Then in whose books these stocks of t-shirts would be recorded? Yes, in the books of the company. Yes, but Darshan, how you are writing in the books of job worker? How these would be recorded in the books of job worker? Whose stock is this? Say I am a company, I have sent goods for to some job worker for carrying out some work. Then whose ownership is this? Is the ownership of the company, or is the ownership of the job worker? Yes, Darshan. Tell me how you are stating that it would be recorded in books of job workers as stocks. Tell me if the point is clear to you or not. Yes, Darshan. Have you understood the point that these are the property of the company? Merely because the company has sent goods, has sent some stocks for carrying out some work to a third party, it doesn't mean that the property in those goods has been transferred to the third party. The company which has sent those goods, it remains their owner, and it would be recorded in the books of the company as inventories. Okay. No, you are understanding wrong with Darshan. You are saying conversion would not be recorded in the job workers book. Yes, conversion, he would be concerned only about his labor charges. I am talking about inventories. He would be recording in his books only labor charges, which he is getting by performing certain work. He would receive, say, he has received 1,000 pieces of t-shirts, and after performing that work, he would be sending back to the company. Now assume that those 1,000 t-shirts which have been sent to the job worker, these are still lying with the job worker as on the date of balance sheet. As on the date of balance sheet, say as on 31st March, these are still lying with the job worker. So how these would become property of the job worker? These can't become. The job worker would record in its books of accounts only job work charges, only labor charges, only service charges. So clear. So this is very important one. So all the whole chapter is based upon a certain logic. It stands upon certain logic. So if you do not understand the basic logic behind this chapter, you would just end up splitting your hairs, literally. So first you try to understand what the chapter is all about. Okay. Yes, Bhumika, you are right. Company is only parting with the possession, and that possession is going to come back to the company after some time. And suppose I take another example. Let us take another contra example in this respect, so that this concept of job work becomes clear to you. So, and many times questions have also come on this particular aspect at the intermediate level. So let us say in there that a company is engaged in manufacturing of something. Say it is engaged in manufacturing of, say, fabric. Okay, it has got its own machinery, say it purchases yarn and yarn is woven into fabric on machinery. Okay, so fine enough. All the stock, all the inventories belong to the company. Say, but sometimes the company also carries, now here companies also carries job work on behalf of third parties. So what does this mean? Say some third parties who do not have machinery of this kind, they send yarn to the company for weaving. They send the yarn and they ask, please manufacture fabric according to our requirements, and company weaves the fabric and sends back the yarn. Understood? Is it clear till now? Now in this case, to whom, and you are the auditor of this company which is engaged in manufacturing of fabric. Now in this case, to whom the stocks received on job work belong? Tell me. In this case, to whom does the stock belong? You are auditor of this company which is engaged in manufacturing of fabrics. Okay, and it has got some orders from third parties for converting their yarn into job work, into fabric. So it is not purchasing the raw material itself. It is working on the raw material sent by third parties, and say as on 31st March, some stocks of fabric is still lying in the premises of this company, which has been sent for weaving by the third parties. Now, to whom does this stock belong? Would it be reflected in the balance sheet of this company of which you are an auditor, because it was lying in the premises of the company? Yes, tell me. Some mails. Yes. Now you have understood. Now everybody is writing correctly that this stock belongs to third parties who have sent the goods to the company. Merely because inventories were lying in the premises of the company doesn't mean that these would be recorded in the books of accounts of the company. So these stocks belong to third party. So the auditor would also see. Now we were talking about audit procedures. Now auditor would also see that in case some goods have been received for job work belonging to third parties, then that stock is not recorded in the financial statements of company. So here you get 1 point, and another point contra of this which we had discussed just before, that if some goods have been sent by the company to another job worker, then it should be ensured that these are included in the value of inventories of the company. Okay, so these are very, very general things. Unless you open up your mind, okay, so you would not be able to understand. So few such points you have to make a repository, a base in your mind of few 5-7 such general points relating to main items of balances which appear in the balance sheet, and for some items of income and expenditure like sales, for purchases, main items, and for for general expenditure to which usual audit procedures apply, like checking bills, checking arithmetical accuracy of the bills, okay, whether it pertains to the same accounting period, okay, for what purpose the expenditure has been incurred, whether the expenditure is of capital nature or revenue nature, okay. So these kind of things. So you are getting my point, guys, what I am trying to convey to you. You are getting my point. So, and one more important tip regarding this chapter is where you guys seem to be stuck up, as far as I think, that relates to when legal provision comes, when legal provisions relating to Companies Act 2013 come regarding classification, presentation, and disclosure requirements. So so that becomes too heavy for you. So I think the best way to tackle this is that you just do, guys, one thing. You go to MCA website, in the ebook section, go to schedule 3. In the ebook section for Companies Act, go to schedule 3 and try to learn all points of schedule 3, because here it is given in the consolidated form. So once you learn the whole schedule 3, I think 60 to 70% of this chapter is done for you. It is easy to remember schedule 3 by encapsulating it in your mind as a whole, okay. So when you would be reading from the text, then many things would become clear to you. Since you would be seeing the whole schedule, then a picture would also be created in your mind, and it would be easy for you to remember. And I think that you would be finding it difficult to remember in broken points from modules, because in module it is given in the item wise. Like for trade receivable, separate requirements are given. For trade payables, separate requirements as given in schedule 3 are given. So a sequence is not built in minds of students, okay. So you would find it easy to remember it from schedule 3, okay. So I will try to show it to you, schedule 3. And students, also remember that once you learn schedule 3, once you invest, say 2 days, complete 2 days, okay. So let us give you a target. Next time you come, at least next time you come on Tuesday, Sunday and Monday is there, you just do one thing, just learn schedule 3. Learn the complete schedule 3. And this would also be useful in your accountancy classes, in your accountancy syllabus. Once you learn it, you would not be committing any mistake. So Darshan is saying it is already given in your accountancy module. That's fine enough. You can do it from there also. But even then, although it is given in your accountancy books, even then I would like you to go to MCA website and see for yourself. Okay, so I'll try to show you. Yes. So this is, you are concerned with only division 1 of the schedule 3. You are concerned with division 1 of the schedule 3. So this is schedule 3. Here there are instructions. Okay. And then there is format of balance sheet. So learn this thing. Yes, Kiran, you are saying there are many heads in ebook. You go to Companies Act 2013, and then in the end, when the page is opened, there are schedules. So you go to schedule 3 there. Okay. So this is the format of balance sheet: equity and liabilities, shareholder funds. So breakup. So many times question come, even it would help you in MCQs, it would help you in case studies, it would help you in writing descriptive answer pertaining to this chapter. So it is, and it would help you in your accounts also. So 4 in 1. So kitne, how many benefits are there of learning schedule 3? So at least you would be able to retain 70-80% content of this. And if you revise it twice, I can assure you that you are not going to commit any mistake. Okay, so these are all heads of how the balance sheet of a company should look like. And also remember general instructions for preparation of balance sheet. Okay, so all this is also in your module, but this is in fragmented way. Okay, because there it is combined with a particular item, with where it is required. Okay, so also refer to general instructions for preparation of balance sheet. And here are all the classification and disclosure requirements, like for share capital, what breakup has to be given, and for liabilities, how these are to be classified in short-term borrowings, in long-term borrowings, how reserve and surpluses are to be classified. Now, capital reserve, capital redemption reserve, security premium has been omitted, and security premium, sorry, and debenture redemption reserve, revaluation reserve. So there is no other way except learning this. You have to learn this, because MCQ can come also, correct incorrect can also come, descriptive question can also be formed, and it is going to help you in your accounts also. This is long-term borrowings. Like long-term borrowings shall be classified into bonds, term loans, and loans from banks, other parties. So also remember the notes below this. So there is a description. Also remember the instructions that where loans are guaranteed by directors, then aggregate amount of such loans shall be disclosed. From which bank the company has taken loan, whether it is secured or unsecured. So all type of things. Similarly, there are requirements in relation to trade payables. Now this aging was introduced from last year, so it becomes very important, that aging schedule. It is also given in your module, but once you see it, you are getting my point. Once you see it this way, I think it would be easy to remember. एक बार आपने students, once you have put two days of at least of going through schedule 3 and learning it, make a target that one day I would learn the whole balance sheet portion, along with its instructions and notes. And another day, I will remember statement of profit and loss, its instructions and notes. Okay. So like this trade payable schedule, that you have to remember that how it is to be classified, that dues for MSME and dues for others have to be given separately, and disputed dues have also to be given regarding MSME and others. So this is a new requirement. Yes, Diksha, this includes disclosure requirements. This is all disclosure. Like the trade payables breakup aging schedule is to be given, that how much trade payables are less than 1 year, 1 to 2 years, 2 to 3 years, more than 3 years. What is this? This is disclosure. Presentation format is what the balance sheet is all about. This is disclosure and classification. Okay. Similarly, in respect of stocks, in respect of inventories. So एक बार में आपसे याद नहीं होगा, try it for 2-3 times. Okay, like trade receivables. Similarly, there is trade receivables aging schedule also. Okay, like undisputed trade receivables considered good, undisputed trade receivable considered doubtful. So when you would be seeing this table, obviously, and you would be analyzing it, you would always remember that in aging trade receivables aging schedule, there was requirement of giving undisputed trade receivables considered good and undisputed trade receivable considered doubtful, and also disputed trade receivables good and disputed trade receivables considered doubtful. And also remember how aging is to be given in respect of trade receivables. What is the difference between aging table of trade receivables and aging receivable of trade payables? Now here in trade receivables, the aging is less than 6 months and 6 months to 1 year, but in trade payables it was less than 1 year. So these subtle point of differences you have to remember. You have to make a clear cut picture of these in your minds. Okay. Similarly, in case of inventories, so once you are done with schedule 3, all the classification, disclosure and presentation requirements which are given in your module pertaining to all items of balance sheets and all items of income statement, all items of profit and loss account, that portion stands covered in one go. Okay, so I think you should try it, and I hope that all of you find it useful. Like for inventories, inventories shall be classified as raw materials, work in progress, finished goods, stock in trade, stores and spares, loose tools. So you have to learn these, that what is the distinction in classification, what the applicable financial reporting framework, schedule 3, what does it say that about inventories, in what distinctive things inventories have to be classified. Like inventories have to be classified, broken into separately into raw materials, work in progress, finished goods and stock in trades. Stock in trade means goods which are held for trading. Say the example of the company which we had taken, it was a manufacturing company engaged in manufacturing of fabric. Say it was also trading some fabric, it was also purchasing some fabric and selling as it is. So stocks pertaining to that, stock in trade, stores and spares, loose tools. Sometimes MCQ can come, whether this classification is correct or not, who knows. So schedule 3 is very important. Okay. Trade receivable aging schedules, I have already told you. Cash and cash equivalents. What breakup is prescribed in cash and cash equivalents? Like balance with banks, checks, draft on hand, cash on hand, and others. And all things you should try to remember to the extent possible. And students, one more thing. Last year there was amendment that balance sheet of every company would be rounded off. It would be not in exact rupees, but it would be rounded off in say lakhs or millions, depending upon its total income. Okay, so that is a relatively new amendment. So you should also learn it. It is written there in the beginning. In the beginning, like here it is written in the start. Yes, it is here. Depending upon the total income of the company, figures in the financial statements would be rounded off as given below. Earlier it was discretionary. It was not mandatory on the part of companies. Now it has become mandatory. So these small things. Okay, so definitely it is going to enhance your knowledge, and you would be able to solve questions also. Clear, guys? Send your mails, guys. No, Sushil, cash credit is not included in cash and cash equivalent. Cash credit is a liability. Cash credit is a loan which the company has taken. नाम सिर्फ cash credit है. It is a liability. It is included in short-term borrowings. It is included in short-term borrowings. I told you that cash credit limit day before yesterday. I told you that cash credit limit is in nature of short-term working capital loan. So it is in nature of short-term borrowings. So it would be classified as a secure loan under the heading short-term borrowings. And if term loan is there, it would be classified under long-term borrowings, because term loan by its very nature is for more than 36 months. Okay. यस, आप सब कह रहे हैं क्लियर है. भूमिका, दर्शन, दीक्षा, कोमल, किरण, and students, I hope that this strategy of learning this chapter can help you out. And one more thing you have to do in this chapter, students, and that is understand meaning of all assertions completely and read the questions correctly before answering. कि वो पूछ क्या रहा है. Suppose whether the examiner is asking, whether the question is asking you to write the audit procedures, or whether the question is writing you how would you vouch these things, verify these things. So there is a difference. If the question is asking what are the audit procedures, so audit procedures in respect to that item include all things, like it also includes tests of controls, it also includes vouching, it also includes verification in respect of balances, it also includes substantive analytical procedures. Okay. So, and or whether the question is asking how would you vouch this item. Say now, before going to assertions part, let us do a simple question. Say there is a question in your exam. how would you vouch foreign travel expense? There is a item in the financial statements of company that there are foreign traveling expenses debited of say 10 lakh rupees in the statement of profit and loss account. Then how would you vouch? How would you verify? So tell me, how would you do this? So general, apply your common sense and write in your own language 4-5 points. That's all. So let us see your level of knowledge. The company has debited say rupees 10 lakhs on account of foreign traveling expenses during the year in its statement of profit and loss account. Okay. How would you verify foreign traveling expenses debited in statement of profit and loss account? Write 4 points. Yes. So think guys, थोड़ा दिमाग पे जोर डालिए. Put a little strain on your mind. Yes. Yes, it is for a company. It is for a company. And also, Kiran, also remember what the question is saying, whether it is in respect of a company or whether it is in respect of an entity. What is written there? Say if it is written in respect of a firm, then you can't write disclosure requirements of schedule 3. That important point you have to remember. Yes, send your mail guys. Think of any 3-4 points. Yes. Yes, send your mails. Yes, 3-4 mails have come. What about others? So guys, try to have some general knowledge also. So when you write something, make sure that it is relevant. It is prima facie, it is not irrelevant to the question asked, or it is way apart. So the examiner who would be checking, if it is way apart, he would simply put a cross. Okay. Yes, some of you are giving the right reasons. Now, Darshan, now I would like to ask you, you are writing check the voucher, okay, tally it with cash book. Now tell me, if a foreign travel expenditure is incurred, now whether it would be incurred using cash. Can you incur foreign traveling expenses using cash? आप इंडिया से कुछ चीज बाहर लेके जा रहे हो, you would be what you would be carrying? You would be carrying traveler checks. So how you would deal with this? So either you would be carrying traveler checks or you would be carrying permissible amount of foreign currency. So isn't it quite logical? So you would see that foreign travel expenses is approved by competent authority. ठीक है. Verified tickets, persons traveled, who traveled, whether it is for business purpose or not. Kabhi whether director's wife is also accompanying him. It might be the case. that it might be a family jaunt. Okay, so it would trigger another reporting requirements. Okay, so you have to make sure that the purpose for which foreign traveling expenses were incurred, whether it was for business purpose. Okay, and you can also check say agent's bill. So when you write agent's bill, obviously when you buy ticket, so you might have booked, the company might have booked directly, but generally it is a practice to get the ticket from the agents who deal in this line of business. They and foreign currency is also taken from the authorized money changers, and that is also, that part is also being done by agents sometimes. Okay, and the purpose you have to see, and see that the amount has been debited from the bank statement. Obviously ticket amount would have been debited from bank statement. The foreign currency which the person is carrying, that must have been debited from the bank statement. Okay, reasonableness of the expenditure, comparison with previous years. Okay, these are the general points, but when you write some specific things, then obviously you would be getting 4 out of 4. So there is a difference between some general points and specific points. So try to write at least 1-2 specific points apart from general points. Now controls, whether it has been approved, such type of points are in every expenditure item. So ये भी है कि ये तो पॉइंट आप याद कर लें कि whether it is approved by competent authority, ये तो सब में लग सकता है. This general point is everywhere. Okay, so clear students? Is that clear students? Now students, many times assertion questions on assertions, and all this chapter 9 is based upon verifying assertions of the management. Whatever you are going to verify, what are you are verifying, all are assertions which are stated in the financial statements, all are assertions which are there in the balance sheet, which are there in the financial statements, whether these are implied or expressed. So you clearly understand the meaning of assertions, or should I repeat once again the meaning of assertions, or is it clear to you? Yes, students, is the meaning of assertions clear to you, or should I once again repeat? You have read about this term assertions in chapter 1 and 3. Yes, Varsha, you are asking. Yes, Varsha, your reply has reached. Now, while writing an exam, students, try to write a language which is specific to the subject. Like Varsha, you are saying it is approved from competent authority, it is for company's job. So better you are saying your intent is okay, but you should write in the paper that it is for the business purposes, that the expenditure incurred is for business purposes. So such kind of words you should, what Rajiv sir was also saying a day before yesterday, that you should have a repository, you should have a database in your mind of such kind of words. Okay. Yes. One, two of you are saying that please explain assertions. So I'll quickly explain. 80% of you know that what is meant by assertions. So what are assertions? Assertions are whatever is there in the balance sheet, in the financial statements, all are assertions. Say this is a balance sheet. Okay. Say on the asset side, there is building of say 5 lakhs, there is machinery of 1 lakh, there is stock of say 10 lakhs. So what does this mean? This means that management is saying that building is there whose written down value is 5 lakhs after deducting depreciation. Okay, so whatever items are there either in balance sheet or in the financial statements or in the profit and loss account, all of these are assertions. Okay, these may be express assertions or implied. Like here, value of building after depreciation is 5 lakhs. So what is the implied assertion? Implied, which is not clearly stated. So implied means that building is used for the purpose of business. Okay. So assertions, the word assertion is derived from the word assert. Assert means to believe in something. Say when I say that cash in hand in my books is 1 lakh, it means that the cash was there as on the closing date of rupees 1 lakh. Now assertions always belong to management. This you have to remember, that assertions pertain to management. Management is making those assertions. Now what is the relevance of auditor to the assertions? The relevance of auditor is that the auditor verifies assertions to identify potential misstatements which could be there. Okay, so that is a sort of framework made under the made while studying the subject of auditing. So every item of financial statements, every item of balance sheet, every item of P&L is an assertion in itself. That management is, when some figure is stated, it means that management is stating this thing about this item. Okay, so simply understood, it means this. Clear, guys? Sushil, is it clear to you? Yes, Sushil, is it clear to you? And Chinmoy Das, you were also writing. Yes, Sushil and Chinmoy, is the meaning of term assertions clear to you? It is there in a detailed manner in chapter 3. Probably you have not attended classes relating to chapter 3, audit documentation and audit evidence. And now you have also to remember types of assertions. Okay, because many time MCQs are coming on this also. Say, firstly, we talk of assertions relating to transactions. Transactions or events, like what are transactions? So say sales are happening, purchases are being made, expenses are being incurred. These are all transactions happening on day-to-day basis in an entity, in a company, in any organization. Okay, so there are assertions relating to every aspect. Say now I take the example of sales. Let us take the example of sales. Now one assertion relating to sale is occurrence. Now what does occurrence means? Occurrence means that whatever has been recorded in books of accounts, in fact it has occurred and it relates to the entity, it pertains to the entity. Say if some sale is recorded in the books of account, but say sales had not taken place, actually there was no movement of goods, these were bogus sales. So what, when the auditor is checking about sales, which he is checking this one assertion about the occurrence, that whether what is recorded in the books of the company as sales, whether this transaction has actually occurred or not. And if it has occurred, then it belongs to the company, it pertains to the company. Clear? Is that clear, students? Say I give you an example. Let us say that there is a firm X, Y and Co. Okay, and there is also a sister concern B, Y and Co. Okay, so you are auditor of, assume these are partnership firms, so you are auditors of X, Y and company. Okay, and while checking, while verifying sales of X, Y and company, you come across a bill, sale bill of say 5 lakhs, which in fact pertains to BY and company, and it has been entered in books of XY and company. Now, which assertion of management is disproved in this case? Now, management was saying that these sales belong to XY and company, but this belong to BY and company. Although the sales has occurred, transaction has taken place, but this didn't belong to XY and company. So which assertion of management is what management was trying to say? Management was trying to say that these sales belong to me, to XY and company, but in fact it didn't belong to XY and company. It belonged to another company, BY and company, their sister concern. So which management assertion is disproved? Occurrence. So it is a perfect MCQ. Okay, 4 options would be given and you would have to state that which assertion of management is disproved. Clear, students? Now Kiran, you are stating ownership. how you can say ownership assertion transactions में तो है ही नहीं. We are talking about transactions में we in auditing say occurrence of a transaction. When we talk about transactions, we say occurrence. While talking about balances, we say about ownership, about rights and obligations. So you have to make clear this difference in your mind, that transactions is one thing and balances are another thing. There are separate tests of transactions which is known as watching. There are separate tests for balances which is known as verification or tests of balances. Both of these combined form tests of details. Clear students? Which whether your mind is opening up? Yes, tell me students, whether your mind is opening up. Tell me whether your mind is opening up, you are imbibing the things, you are learning the things, and your level of knowledge, your way of thinking is getting better or not? Tell me. Yes, Divyansh, tests of details simply means these are substantive procedures, like say when you are checking sales bills of a company. Okay, like you were checking foreign traveling expenses of the company, assume the last example which you are taking. So what you were performing tests of details. You were verifying whether these expenses have been properly recorded, whether these are in the correct period, where you were verifying these expenses from the bills. So all these are tests of details. Okay, Divyansh, is it clear to you? Now second assertion relating to transactions is, sorry, yes, second assertion relating to transactions is completeness. Now what is completeness? Completeness means, so we are taking one example, we are taking sales only, example of sales. So occurrence was, what was occurrence? Occurrence was that the transactions which is recorded in books has occurred and it belongs to entity. And complete, what does completeness mean? Completeness means that the transactions which should have been recorded have been recorded. So what does this mean? This means that no sales is left out from being reflected. That say the goods have been dispatched to the customer, but say some sale bill is misplaced. Okay, and it has not been entered in books of accounts. So in such case, completeness assertion is being verified by the auditor. That transactions which should have been recorded, whether these have been recorded or not. First, occurrence related to whether the transactions which have been recorded have occurred or not, and they belong to the entity. And this relates to completeness, whether the transactions which should have been recorded have in fact been recorded or not. Okay, Yes, Bhumika, you are right. You have understood. And what is the third one? Third one is simple accuracy. That say in respect of sales transactions, whatever amount is there in bill, the same has been entered in the books of accounts. So all the amounts and data and name of the say buyer, these have been put in books of accounts accurately. Okay. Fourth is cutoff. Cutoff, you already know, cutoff period. That transactions have been accounted for in the correct accounting period. Like you are seeing the balance sheet of 31st March 23, then the transactions, then the no transactions of say 1st April. Okay. So our cutoff date would be 31st March 2023. Okay. And fifth is classification. That is also simple, that these have been recorded in, classified in correct accounts, in proper accounts. Okay. Like say how let us take an example of sales in this respect, that it is classified in correct proper account. Say I take a simple example. Say if there is a company and it has received some advance of say 2 lakh from a customer. Now this amount should have been reflected in the proper account. This is a liability, advance from customer. दिस इज ए करंट लाइबिलिटी. ऐसा तो नहीं है कि इसको भी सेल्स में कर दिया एंटर, क्रेडिट साइड के आइटम है, जिससे कि रेवेन्यू मेरा इन्फ्लेट हो गया. So what does this mean? This would mean recognizing revenue in advance improperly. Recognizing revenue in advance improperly. Sales have not taken place. I have received advance and I am booking it as a revenue. Okay. So all the 5 assertions, you have to remember their names and remember that these relate to, there are separate assertions relating to transactions and there are separate assertions relating to balances. So what are assertions relating to transactions? Quickly, number 1 was occurrence, second was completeness, third was accuracy, and fourth was cutoff, and fifth was classification. Okay. Yes, it is also Varsha. You can say that. And what are assertions in respect of balances? Assertions in respect of balances. Now, assertion in respect of balances is, first is existence, that balance exists. Now, say when we are talking about inventories, so what do we say? That inventories exist on that date. So you can also correlate it with SA 501. SA 501 में भी यही था, that it is a responsibility of auditor to obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence regarding existence and condition of inventories. So SA 501 also talks about existence. So inventory is a balance sheet item. It is reflected as a balance. Okay. So it is, the assertion relates to existence. Okay. Say in relation to trade receivables. Now whether the balance exists, say you send a confirmation to a third party and the balance is confirmed, which assertion of management is proved? Tell me. Which assertion of management is proved? Tell me. Say treat it as a question. 1 mark question. Treat it as a question. You treat it as a question, students. You send confirmation request for verification of a trade receivable, and you get a response from the third party confirming the balance. Then which management assertion is proved? Yes, which management assertion is proved? Only 3 replies: Bhumika, Sudhanshu and Kiran. Yes, existence. That's true. Existence. No, Sushil, how you are writing accuracy? First thing you have to understand that accuracy is not among the assertions in respect of balances. There are 4 assertions in respect of balances. Accuracy is not one of them. 4 assertions are: number 1 is existence, number 2 is rights and obligations, number 3 is completeness, and number 4 is valuation and allocation. Say what is rights and obligation? Right means that, say if inventory's balance is stated in the financial statement, then that inventory belongs to me. That inventory belongs to the company in whose financial statements these are being reflected. Okay. So completeness, same definition. Whatever should have been recorded has been recorded. Nothing is omitted. Okay. And valuation means that the balance amount which is appearing in the balance sheet, that is properly valued and allocated. Say in case of inventories, the proper valuation is done. All costs which should have been recognized in which should have been included in the costs for valuing the inventories, these have been included. Okay, like raw materials, for valuing raw materials, all purchase prices and all costs for bringing those raw materials to the premises of company, these are included in the cost, because these form costs of purchase. Okay, say you have you are purchasing raw material, say from you are based in you are a company based in Noida, and you are purchasing some raw material for Tamil Nadu. Okay, and there is, say, huge amount of freight you are incurring, so that also forms part of the cost of the raw material. So while valuing those raw material, it should be included as part of the cost. Okay. No, Darshan, I am coming to your point. And completeness, you know, valuation also I've explained. Now let us take a point. Let us take an example. Now suppose XYZ is a company. Okay, you are the auditor of this company. You have sent confirmation request. Okay, you are asking the party, say Mr. A, to confirm the balance in the which is there in the books of XYZ Limited. Okay, say the balance amount is of rupees 5 lakhs. So my question is, which management assertion is not proved? Which management assertion is not proved? Say 4 options are given: existence, B, occurrence, C, valuation, D, rights and obligations. Or rather, here you should write completeness. Now which assertion is not proved? Tell me. I have sent a, there is some party, there is some buyer. The balance in the books of accounts of the company is 5 lakh pertaining to that buyer. I send him a confirmation as an auditor of company, and that party confirms that balance, that okay, 5 lakh is there in my books of accounts. Which management assertion is not proved? Yes, tell me. And why it is so? I also want the reason. Darshan, you were asking this question. I also want reason from you. Which management ऐसा कौन सी management assertion prove नहीं हो रही है? Tell me guys. Which management assertion is not proved in such a situation? No, the answer is C, valuation. Why it is valuation? से दूसरी पार्टी कह रही है 5 लाख उसकी अकाउंट बुक्स में बैलेंस है, कंपनी भी कह रही है 5 लाख बैलेंस है, लेकिन क्या पता ये बैलेंस, वेदर दिस बैलेंस इज रिकवरेबल और नॉट, क्या पता ये डाउटफुल डेट हो, तो क्या कंपनी की बुक्स में इसकी वैल्यूएशन प्रॉपर है? क्या पता इसको, वेदर द कंपनी वुड हैव टू मेक प्रोविजन फॉर इट, for some company would be requiring to make some allowance for bad and doubtful debts. So this is about valuation. Now this is a correct reason which I am telling you, Bhumika. What you are writing is not the correct reason. So completeness तो हो ही रही है कि all the bills which were there, the party is confirming, yes, these were the bills, these were the payments, and he is also confirming the balance, but valuation is not proved. We are talking about the company. So the balance is confirmed. Now whether the same balance has to be reflected in books of accounts of the company, or whether some allowance has to be made, this cannot be this is for the company to decide. Okay, you get it? You are getting it, guys? Are you understanding it or not? Similarly, students, there are assertions relating to presentation and disclosure. Okay, similar assertions. One relating to occurrence, rights and obligations. Another relates to completeness, classification and accuracy. So what I am trying to say is that this whole chapter 9 is based upon understanding of concept of assertions, कि क्वेश्चन आपको ये भी देखना है कि क्वेश्चन पूछ क्या रहा है, व्हाट इज द डिमांड ऑफ द क्वेश्चन. Okay, say whether the question is talking about audit procedures relating to existence of inventories, और आप उसमें सब कुछ लिखे जा रहे हैं, आप उसमें valuation भी लिखे जा रहे हैं, and you are writing other things also. So you would not be getting any credit about those written points, because these would be irrelevant to the answers. You would be getting credit only for those marks which are relevant to the answers. Say if a question comes, write 4 points relating to audit procedures relating to existence of inventories, then you have to write how you would be verifying existence of inventories. You have nothing to write about valuation. So you have to clearly understand these distinctive points. So sometimes happens students come out of the exams jumping and thumping also. That paper was very easy, but when the result comes, they say that marking ठीक नहीं थी, that there was no proper marking. So then you say, students say such type of things. So what I am trying to say is that you have to self-evaluate what you are writing, what the question is asking, and whether you are writing some irrelevant matter. So understanding concept of assertions and schedule 3 plus requirements of Companies Act. So Companies Act, students who have already passed group 1, you have already done the company law, so it would be easy for you to remember all the relevant provisions. Okay, so students who are appearing for both groups, they also know. So problem remains only for those students who are appearing for the group 2 without clearing group 1. Okay, so you would have to put some additional effort and also remember requirements of Companies Act, some legal provisions, okay, which are there in your module relating to certain items like sweat equity shares, etc., and all these items. So this chapter number 9 is built upon these three parameters, these 3 things. Number 1 is concept of assertion. Be clear in your mind regarding assertions. Remember schedule 3 and remember relevant provisions of Companies Act 2013, which are there in your module. Any other doubt? Yes, students. So can we do some questions? Yes, students. Can we do some question, guys? Yes. So let us do some correct incorrect. So according to SA 315, the objective of auditor is to identify and assess the risk of material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error, only at the assertion level. Whether this statement is correct or incorrect. According to SA 315, the objective of auditor is to identify and assess the risk of material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error, only at assertion level. Yes. Kiran, do right reason. Whenever you are, again, I have been telling you very often, quite often, that you would not get any credit in the exam without writing reasons in these 2 marks question. If you write simply correct or incorrect, you would be getting 0. Yes, yes, guys. Only Kiran and Darshan. What about others? Yes, this statement is incorrect because objective of auditor is to identify risk of material misstatement not only at assertion level but at the financial statement level also. Okay. So Darshan and Sudhanshu, you have given the right answer. Now question number 2. Sushil, you just can't write generally. There are some other levels involved. No, you would not be getting any credit. Getting 0. You would have to write that the objective of auditor is to assess risk of material misstatement not only at assertion level but at the level of financial statements. You can't escape by writing at some other level. Would be getting 0. No, at any level won't do, Kiran. You would have to write that at assertion level and financial statement level. So, kitni bar, how many times these term has come? In chapter 2, in chapter 3, in chapter 4, everywhere. Everywhere it is coming. Okay. But still, these are the keywords which you fail to remember. So if you do not write these words, you would be getting 0. And then again, you would be making such a balla balla of your papers not being checked properly. So this is not the case. Control environment can prevent, detect, and correct a material misstatement. Question number 2. Control environment can prevent, detect, and correct a material misstatement. Yes. Yes, tell whether it is correct or incorrect. कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट कुछ स्टूडेंट्स याद है आपको? व्हाट इज कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट? फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल टेल मी व्हाट इज कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट? कहां पढ़ा था? इन विच चैप्टर यू हैड रेड? देन वी विल टॉक अबाउट अदर थिंग्स. इन विच चैप्टर इट वाज देयर? व्हाट वाज द चैप्टर ऑल अबाउट? व्हाट इज कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट? Students, whether you remember something, what is control environment? It is only then you would be able to answer the questions. ऐसे hit and trial से तो nothing is going to happen. Yes, you are writing it was about it was in chapter 4 risk assessment and chapter का पूरा नाम क्या है? chapter 4 का चैप्टर 4 का पूरा नाम क्या है? रिस्क असेसमेंट एंड इंटरनल कंट्रोल. सो व्हाट इज कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट? कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट इज ए कंपोनेंट ऑफ इंटरनल कंट्रोल. रिमेंबर, some spark has lighted in your mind or not? Control environment. What is the integrity of the management? How the management looks after its employees, whether the employees are satisfied, how the authorities are delegated, what is the organization structure, whether proper training is given to employees, what are the HR policies of the company. These all form part of control environment. So control environment is a sort of enabling environment. So अगर किसी कंपनी का control environment अच्छा है, it doesn't mean that it would prevent, detect and correct a material misstatement. It is only an enabling requirement. It by itself does not correct material misstatements. Okay, it is an enabling requirement. It can help, but by itself it is nothing. Okay, so this is also incorrect. Number 3. While auditing the books of accounts of XYZ Limited, the auditor looked at the inventory counting process to obtain audit evidence. In the present case, audit procedure used by auditor is known as inspection. Yes, tell me. Question number 3. Auditor is seeing the inventory counting process. Now, is this procedure known as inspection? Is this audit procedure known as inspection? Tell me. Yes, students. Come on, guys. While auditing the books of accounts of XYZ Limited, the auditor of company looked at counting process to obtain audit evidence. Now, whether it is known as inspection? Yes, this is incorrect. This you are writing properly. This is known as observation. Seeing somebody perform some work is an observation. I am observing that process. If I am going through some documents, if I am reading some documents, if I am going through annual reports of a company or the previous year balance sheets of the company, then I am inspecting. Okay. Number 4. When inventory under the custody and control of a third party is material to the financial statements, it means that stocks are lying with some third party, say with some job worker, the auditor can obtain appropriate audit evidence by regarding existence and condition of inventory by taking written representations. Number 4, yes. Whether it is correct or incorrect, yes, tell me. When inventory under the custody and control of a third party is material to the financial statements, the auditor can obtain audit evidence regarding existence and condition of inventory by taking written representations. Yes. Yes, students, tell me. Quickly send your mails. Yes, guys. No, you probably you are not understanding the question. This statement is incorrect. SA 501. Tell me, Sudhanshu, you are writing what you are writing. You are saying correct. It is material to financial statements. वो तो लिखा ही हुआ है. It is written there, Sudhanshu. Then what you are stating? The question asks that when inventories of a company are lying with some third party and these are material, it means that these are significant item in the financial statements. Then the auditor, whether the auditor can obtain audit evidence by just obtaining written representation. Written representations, आपको और भी कुछ सोचने की जरूरत ही नहीं थी इसमें. रिटर्न रिप्रेजेंटेशन अपने आप में ही सफिशिएंट अप्रोप्रिएट ऑडिट एविडेंस नहीं है. It is not sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Any written representation you have read in SA 580 that any written representation is not a sufficient appropriate audit evidence. उससे भी आप इसको you could have correlated, but you are giving funny type of reasons. So say if some stocks are lying with the third party and the management is saying that look, so much stocks are lying with the third party, you would agree whether it is a sufficient appropriate audit evidence. Wouldn't you ask from confirmation from the third party? Or you perform some other procedure? So so what is your level of understanding? How you are writing this? Yes, Bhumika, you are saying it correctly. Written representations do not by themselves constitute sufficient appropriate audit evidence. ये तो written representation का basic फंडा है स्टूडेंट्स, जो आपने चैप्टर 3 में पढ़ा है. एटलीस्ट एक रिटर्न रिप्रेजेंटेशंस का आपने इतना बड़ा यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द टॉपिक, उस एटलीस्ट यू शुड हैव रिमेंबर्ड एटलीस्ट वन मेन थिंग आउट ऑफ दैट. So now you can understand how low your retention power is, students. Therefore you have to retain the things, you have to learn the things, retain the things and remember the things and put and try to Keep it in your mind. ये नहीं, once you have read the book, you have flipped 3-4 pages and done, it's done. आधा घंटा 1 घंटा लगा लिया, that we are done with it, हो गया ऑडिटिंग का चैप्टर. इस तरह आप ऑडिटिंग में you would never be able to get even 40 marks. Okay. Now, assertions. Assertions refer to representations by the auditor to consider different type of potential misstatements that may occur in the financial statements. Now, very simple assertions we have done today also, so I do not want any wrong answer from you. Assertions refer to representations by auditor to consider different type of potential misstatements. Yes. Kiran, again you are writing incorrect but without reason. The answer is incorrect. Why it is incorrect? Because assertions refer to representations by management, not by auditor. Yes. This you have 7-8 of you who have answered, you have answered it correctly. Okay. Now read question number 6. As per SA 200, in conducting audit of financial statements, overall objective of auditor is to obtain reasonable absolute assurance about whether financial statements are as a whole or free from material misstatement due to fraud or error. Yes. Question number 6. Whether it is correct or incorrect. Six says that it is saying that in conducting audit of financial statements, one of the objective of auditor is to obtain absolute assurance whether financial statements are as a whole or free from material misstatement due to fraud or error. Varsha, you are saying to explain again what you want me to explain again. Write specifically what you want me to explain again. Yes, guys. Yes. Question number 6, answer is also incorrect. Yes, I had spoken and then I realized my mistake. So there should be reasonable assurance. Yes, Varsha, tell me what you want me to explain again. Once the overall audit strategy has been established, an audit plan can be developed to address the various matters identified in the audit strategy. The establishment of audit strategy and plan are closely interrelated. Question number 7. Once the overall audit strategy has been established, an audit plan can be developed to address the various audit matters The establishment of overall audit strategy and detailed audit plan are closely interrelated. Yes, 7. Question number 7. Question number 7. You want me to explain question number 2? Okay. After doing this, Varsha, explain question number 2. Yes, this statement is correct. Question number 7 is correct. Audit strategy and plan are closely related. Once strategy is set, then plan can be developed. Okay, correct. Number 8. Teaming and leading is one of the techniques of inflating cash payments. कुछ याद आया? टीमिंग एंड लीडिंग कौन से चैप्टर में है स्टूडेंट्स? In which chapter we had read about teaming and leading? Yes. Any retention? Let us see what is your retention value? Yes. Teaming and leading is one of the techniques of inflating cash payments. Yes, Varsha, you are asking right thing. If you are saying that if statement is correct, then what you would have to write? You would have to slightly explain that statement, that why it is correct. You would have to write like that. That once overall strategy is established, then plan can be developed, and changes in one can lead to changes in another. These are closely related. Okay, these are not discrete processes. These are closely related, interconnected. So this kind of way you can explain. Yes, you are writing. You read in chapter on frauds. चलो स्टूडेंट्स, इतना तो आपको याद है. You remember so much that it is a term related to chapter 5, chapter on frauds. Yes, what about others? 3-4 mails have come. Yes, Sonali, you are writing it correctly. It is incorrect. It is not a technique of inflating cash payment, but it is a technique of suppressing cash receipts. We had learned that, say, what the accountant was doing, he was receiving cash from one party and crediting it in the account of another party. And when the amount was received from the second party, it was being credited in the account of the third party. So this time lag he was enjoying. Okay, so it is a method of suppressing cash receipts, not inflating cash payments. Cash payment की तो इसमें बात ही नहीं हो रही. Inflating cash payment means like when, say, I am paying wages, the company has booked fake wages, fake cash wages. So inflating cash payments. Cash payments have been inflated when there are dummy workers, when there are ghost workers. In fact, no wages were paid, but wages have been shown to be paid. So that is an example of inflating cash payments. So teaming and leading is an example of suppressing cash receipts. Okay. So fine, students. Now let us do some descriptive question also, because we have not done any descriptive question. Now say this is the question which comes in your paper. Say 4 marks. Professional integrity and independence are essential characteristics of all the professions. That there are two interlinked perspectives of independence of auditor. One is independence of mind and another is independence in appearance. Explain. So what would you write, students? Yes, tell me. Independence of mind, independence of experience. याद है कुछ students who had done it in which chapter? Yes, guys. Tell me in which chapter we had studied it. Remember? Do you remember? Yes, chapter 1, Kiran, you are writing. Now the question is saying there are two interlinked perspectives of independence of appearance and independence of mind. What does this mean? So how would you write the answer to this question? Just write in your own words. Do you remember the concept of independence of mind and independence in appearance? Yes, guys. Do you remember the concept? What did it mean? So I'll explain to you. So independence in mind, it is an attitude that the auditor has to take all decisions with objective criteria, keeping into objectivity in mind. He is not to be biased from anybody. Okay, he would be forming his opinion on the basis of evaluation of facts which are before him, without any bias, without any influence from third person. Okay. And what was independence of appearance? Independence in appearance means that not only he should be independent in his attitudes, not only he should be independent in his mind, but he should look to third parties. He should look to third parties that he is an independent person, that by his conduct he should not do anything which gives an impression in the minds of third parties that he is not an independent person. Like, so this is the answer. So like I had explained to you probably at the time when we were doing chapter 1 also, that say you are auditor of a company and the company is launching, say, some new product. Okay, so the company requests you to be present there in a press conference. Say they are organizing for the launch of a new product. Okay, so why you as an auditor should not be associated with such an event? Why? What should be the reason? Yes, guys, tell me what should be the reason. Say I am telling you that you are auditor of a company, the company is launching some new product and the company requests you to be part of a press conference where the products are being launched, because they hold you in high esteem. You are auditor of the company, but you should not be associated with such events. Why it is so? Can you tell the reason why it is so? Yes, it involves, yes, Darshan is saying it involves threat to the independence. Yes, that's true. Which threat? Which threat? Yes, Darshan, tell me which threat? Which threat to independence is involved? Which threat to independence is involved? And besides threat, it involves one thing you have to remember, that it would involve advocacy threat. It would involve because other people would consider you as a person who is favoring that company, who is promoting the products of that company, who is championing the cause of the company. So your image as an independent person would be in shutters. Okay, so this is the whole concept of uh, this is the whole concept of independence in mind. Sorry, independence in appearance. Sorry, this is the whole concept of independence in appearance, that you should not do anything by which you should look to other persons that you are not an independent person. Okay, so this is how you should write the answer. You have to explain that what is independence in mind. It is a condition of mind, it is a quality, it is built upon personal character. Okay, and there are two concepts of independence, like the independence in mind as well as independence in appearance, and explain both, that it is a state of mind that uh, you have to take decision with objectivity and integrity, and following professional skepticism, without influence of anybody, without influence of a third person. And independence in appearance means avoidance of facts and circumstances that are so significant that a third party would reasonably conclude that auditor's integrity or objectivity has been compromised. Okay, so this much you have to write in a 4-mark question, 2-3 paras. It is less than a page. It would be less than a page even. That would be sufficient. So what I am trying to say is, students, what you have to write, it would have to be relevant. It is not that you write 2-3 pages and just waste your time. You are not going to get any credit. For 4-mark question, normally a page would be sufficient. Normally, sometimes it might be little less or little more. A page would be more than sufficient. So the question is, I'm just giving you a thumb rule. It's question is not only of page, but it is of what relevant material you are writing. Say if you write 3-4 relevant points, then your work is done. Okay. Yes, guys, any other thing about descriptive questions you want to ask? Yes, now let us see question number 2. Question number 3, part B. An audit is distinct from investigation. However, it is possible that sometimes investigation results from prima facie findings of the auditor. Discuss. Now, from where this question has been taken? Yes, tell me. This question relates to which chapter? Yes, students. Students, I hope you are finding it useful. Drop your mails and give feedback in your feedback forms. Did you find do you find such sessions useful? Whether these help in increasing your understanding, whether these help in answering you better, whether these help in preparing you better. Yes, chapter 1 you are writing correctly. Now आपको students इसमें लिखना क्या है? What you have to write? An audit is distinct from investigation. However, it is also possible that sometimes investigation results from prima facie findings of the auditor. Discuss. What you have to write? Tell me. I'll explain to you. But what you have to write? Just give some short points. What you have to write in such a question? Yes, guys. Yes. So Danshu is writing that investigation is done for some specific purpose. Yes, that's true. And how you would, I am asking you how you would attempt this question. You need not write complete answer, but just let me know how you would deal the question in the paper. Yes. Siva Ranjani, Darshan, yes, you are writing correctly. Yes, you have to explain the difference between audit and investigation. First of all, you would write that investigation is always proceeds on a preconceived notion that something wrong is there. Okay, but audit does not proceed on this notion. Audit, the objective of auditor is to obtain reasonable assurance. Again, you can write this thing. Objective of auditor तो याद रहेगा ना ऐसे 200 का. That would be there in your mind. तो आप वहां से लिख सकते हैं कि the objective of auditor is to obtain reasonable assurance whether financial statements are free from material misstatements, whether due to fraud or error. So this is the objective. So during the course of audit, if the auditor comes across some fraud, then he reports that. Okay, but it does not proceed on the basis that fraud is there. Okay, he applies the procedures, he carries out the audit in accordance with essays, but the audit does not proceed on this basis. Okay, and you have also to write that audit that in investigation there are certain legal powers with the investigator, like some like authorizing, like recording the statements or calling people on summons. But in case of audit, there is no such power with the auditor. he can only ask the management. He can only ask the employees to provide him that information. If they do not provide, or if they do not cooperate, the only recourse available is him to either consider leaving the engagement or modify. Okay, he cannot force these things. And also you have to write that it is sometimes it is quite possible that auditor has found something, and on the basis of that some detailed investigations are conducted. So the findings of auditor in fact become basis for the investigation. Okay, clear guys? So even these questions are long enough. Even I am telling you, the questions, actual questions in the exams won't be so long. These would be shorter than that. You would be thinking of some specific 4 or 5 points which you would be yearning to write. Okay, and the longer the question is, rather the easier it is for you. Okay, so answer should be like that. Audit is distinct from investigation. Investigation is done with a special purpose. Okay, like say fraud is suspected, it is specifically called to check the accounts whether fraud really exists. Okay, objective of the audit is to obtain reasonable assurance. So here difference between investigation and audit is clearly brought out. Okay, this preconceived notion I already told you. And the last point, so even the marks allotted to you guys, suppose this is 4 marks question, then there would be some marks allotment scheme in the exam. It is not that, say, it might be that 3 marks are allotted for this portion and 1 mark is allotted for this portion. So if a student has clearly brought difference between audit and investigation clearly, then he would be giving 3 out of 3, and if he has left this portion, then 0. Then 3 out of 4 he would be getting. So these type of things. So in chartered accountancy course, in all papers, remain rest assured that there is always a step credit is given. Stepwise marking is there. It is not that even in, say, in accountancy paper, that your answer should be correct. If your final answer is not correct, you would be getting 0. No, it is not so. You would be getting stepwise marks. Similarly, in case of taxation papers also, in income tax also, in company law also, you would be getting stepwise marks. The portion which you have answered correctly, that you would be given due credit for that. Now, the important question here arises is that what you think is relevant and what is the requirement of paper of what is relevant. So there is always this gap. Most of the students, I tell you guys, most of the students suffer because of this gap. They are not able to comprehend at the first stage what is the demand of question and what relevant point has to be written in the answer. This is the main problem. Clear, students? Now let us take some question on, say, Now, simple. Now, say briefly discuss the limitations of internal control. Chapter 4. So, simple, clear questions. It is there in your module. Limitations of internal control. So, do you remember limitations? What are limitations? Limitations that these are the things which drag back something from achieving its objective. Okay, like there are limitations of audit, that audit cannot do this. Okay, like audit is not an investigation, or like the nature of audit procedures is such that that auditor cannot give an absolute assurance, or that auditor conducts audit based on samples, based on sample auditing. He is not in a position to check each and every transaction. So these are limitations. These are examples of practical limitations on the scope of audit. Okay. So similarly, there are limitations of internal control. So are you able to recall some limitations of internal control? Straight question. Are you able to recall some of the limitations of internal control? Say if this is a 4-marker question, so at least you should write 4 limitations. Okay. You guys, you have to see the marks allotted to the question, and also time management you have also to see. एक क्वेश्चन के तो 4 ही नंबर होंगे, 3 नंबर होंगे. आप अगर एक क्वेश्चन पे सपोज ज्यादा टाइम डिवोट करोगे तो उसका क्रेडिट तो 4 में से 5 नंबर तो मिल नहीं जाएंगे उसके आपको. सो ऑलवेज try to attempt the whole paper. Do not leave even for 5 marks. Do not leave even for 3 marks. Rather, I would say अगर आपको कुछ भी नहीं आता है, then even with common sense you should be able to write. अगर आपको बिल्कुल blank है तो भी do not leave. Try to understand the question. You have read the whole syllabus. Try to make some linkages. Okay. Try to correlate it with some concept and do. Maximum क्या होगा? 0 हो जाएगा. माइनस तो नहीं होगा, 0 हो जाएगा. So how does it affect you? So never leave any question. Yes. Now you are writing yes. There are limitations of internal control like collusion. One of the most important limitation of internal control. How many control systems you may devise, how efficient control systems may be devised, but there is always a room for bypassing those controls. Okay. So collusion between employees and human judgment. Sometimes the rules are made with some intention, but the employees may understand it otherwise. So this is again one of the limitation of internal control. Okay. And reasonable assurance is there. Controls only provide reasonable assurance, not complete assurance. So such kind of things. Now Darshan, you are asking in the last session, please discuss how to attempt the paper. So we are simultaneously discussing, Darshan. This is all about paper attemptation. What else you want me to explain about how to attempt the paper? This is all about how to attempt the paper. You have to manage your time. You do not leave any question, even if you are fully prepared. If even then, if you do not know 5-7 marks question, answer to questions of 5-7 marks, 10 marks, then even then do attempt those questions from whatever understanding you have. कुछ ना कुछ चैप्टर में तो आपको ध्यान होगा, कुछ पढ़ा होगा. So try to explain that, because if you do not attempt, it is left out. If you attempt, there is a possibility. Again, we are talking about risk. Then there is a possibility, there is a probability that you may be able to write one relevant point. So it is better to grab 1 mark. Why to leave that 1 mark? No, it is Darshan. It depends from individual to individual whether you want to do MCQs and all this descriptive part first. This depends upon you. So wherever you are comfortable, I would say that you should attend those questions first with which you are very much comfortable, with which you are pretty sure. Say if you have written answer correctly to question number 1 and you are completely assured that I have written correct answer, then obviously it is going to increase your level of confidence. एक question तो हो गया, बिल्कुल ठीक है. And if you get stuck up in the first question itself, then not only you would be wasting your time, but your confidence would also be shattered in relation to subsequent questions. Okay. Siva Ranjani, all chapters are equally important. All chapters are equally important. Yes, Bhumika, you are saying please take some case-based descriptive questions. Yes, we shall take in the next session. What else you want me to ask? What else you want me to answer about preparation of exams? Yes. So guys, are you tired? Are you tired or bored? We have not taken break also. Like on Thursday. Yes, students. I hope that you are not getting bored. Now let us do this question. The division of internal control into 5 components provides a what? Useful framework for auditors to consider how different aspects of entities internal control may affect. Mention the components of internal control. सिर्फ आपको 5 कंपोनेंट के नाम लिखने हैं. Kiran Shukla, again same question. How to remember? We learn. There is no other method than to do it again and again and keep it in your mind. Remember, keep it in your mind. Make a box in your mind, inside your mind, for remembering auditing and other subjects also. Unless and until this, I can assure you, unless and until you remember, you would not be able to write in your exams, whichever paper is, whether it is tax, whether it is direct tax, whether it is company law, whether it is auditing or any paper. If you are not able to retain, to remember, okay, you will not be able to write in the exams. Merely how much good your understanding of any subject is. If you are not able to remember, you would not be able to write. You would not be able to pick the pen. आपसे एक आंसर भी लिखा नहीं जाएगा students. So the point is that, so the second point that comes after understanding is remembering. Understanding is the first stage and remembering is second stage. And then you have to revise it again, so that those remembering impressions are confirmed in your mind once, twice, thrice, depending upon each person's capability. Okay. Yes. बिना मॉड्यूल से देखिए स्टूडेंट्स आप कि whether you are in a position to tell me which are the 5 components of internal control. Honestly, whether you can tell me which are the 5 components of internal control. Honestly, without कोई आपको यहाँ पे एक्स्ट्रा क्रेडिट स्टूडेंट्स नहीं मिल रहा. डू नॉट कॉपी फ्रॉम मॉड्यूल. यस. Yes, what are the 4 components of internal control? One was, there was a question in correct incorrect control environment. This I discussed. Number 2 is entity's risk assessment process. How the entity assesses its risk, how it assesses its business risks. That is an important part of internal control. So how you have forgotten that? And number 3 is information system and processes. What are the systems, hardware, software, through which forming part of the information system of the company, through which information is processed, which is relevant for preparation of financial statements. And number 4, control activities like performance appraisals, etc. And 5th is monitoring of control itself. So these are the components of internal control. Varsha, what you are writing? Tell me what you are writing. Components. We are asking about components of control, internal control. What you are writing? In relation to sales, you are writing something. In relation to inventories. From where you are taking this? Yes. Darshan, what you are writing, you seem to be very clever. but I am not going to answer this question because you know the reason. You know the reason. Therefore, I am not going to answer this question. You know the reason why I am not answering it. Okay. Yes. And Varsha, you are asking correct, incorrect. Number 2. You are saying number 2. Correct, incorrect. Number 2. Yes. Number 2 was relating to control environment. Yes, Varsha, it is very simple. The question was that control environment, it by itself does not prevent, detect and correct a material misstatement. Okay. Control environment does not itself prevent, detect and correct a material misstatement. So obviously, what is control environment? Control environment is the environment in which the company is operating. Like whether the persons behind the company, these are persons of integrity, whether they take care of their employees, whether the compensation packages are good, whether the HR policies of the company are good, whether the company is employing a top down approach or whether its organization structure is team based. So all these factors influence auditors evaluation of effectiveness of control. These by itself do not ensure that there would not be a misstatement. These by themselves do not ensure that there would be a misstatement. Okay. So is that clear to you? Yes, Varsha, is that clear to you? Yes, Varsha, is that clear to you? Question number 2, part 2. Okay. Yes, she is saying it's clear. So guys, I hope that you must have found the session useful, and today we have devoted substantial time uh, to tell you how to prepare for chapter 9. Okay, I have summarized the three factors which you have to keep into your mind while preparing for chapter 9. Those three factors, again I am repeating, remember schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. Remember all the assertions. What is the meaning of assertion relating to transactions, account balances, presentation and disclosures? And also remember relevant provisions of Companies Act 2013. So these three factors you have to take into account while preparing for chapter 9. So I think most of your difficulties must have resolved relating to chapter 9, about how you have to proceed with chapter 9. And we have also done some descriptive questions and correct and incorrect type of questions. And we hope to see you in next lecture on Tuesday. So in all probability, Rajiv sir would also be there. So do not miss that lecture. Okay, guys. So good night to every one of you. Good night, guys. Thank you so much.